Those
Well,
were
you know,
great
one of the
days.
topics David and I always address is the album format in the 21st century. And for David, for some of our younger viewers, we need to show them what an album is. Now, this is known as a record album. Okay, now you see, you remember these, David? You pulled it out, you put it on.
No, I was too young.
You see, you can't take these on an exercise bike or anything. You actually have to sit and listen to them and contemplate. And what's even more exciting is you have credits on the back, and you can read about who the bass player was. Let's see who played bass on this. You know, Lee Sklar. Oh, look at that. He played bass on all the tracks. Then, for you guys, you know, if you had a bigger budget, they used to have a thing called gatefolds.
Oh, yeah.
Actually show.
Well, we used those with seeds, wasn't that?
Like the seeds, yes.
Seeds and things.
But even more exciting is they'd have a picture of the bass player.
Oh, that's great. Oh my God, look at that there, Lee.
Here you are.
Well, and that bass is sitting in the other room right now.
Oh,
there it is.
My main instrument.
And believe it or not, David, there's actually a song on here on this plat. How did he ever make good in the music business?
No. He became a professional bowler.
Oh, he did. But there's actually a song on here, David, where the bass solo is the hook of the song. It's called Your Smiling Face. So it just shows you
how important the bass man is.
How important the record format is. And of course, you have all sorts of funny pictures in there. But
well, believe it or not, my wife's sister, that was their song.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that was a lot of people's songs. Yeah. But talking about the album in the 21st century, is the album format relevant? Like, we'll talk about the tracks, but I listened to this as a whole piece of music, you know, start to finish. And I know you probably took a lot of effort in sequencing the tracks, you know, Good Day Sunshine, the title track, et cetera, et cetera. But now we live in a streaming world. Is the album format still relevant to you both?
I love the idea of the collection of songs, you know. I guess I saw some 78 albums, you know, some actual album folios.
Yeah, they're like the album.
And, you know, the sleeves are in this booklet, and so I just think I like that concept of an album where it documents a time, and so or documents something, you know, where we've got for me. I just liked being able to get in the studio, get all those done, but I don't know, you know, do people, and I love the vinyl because, you know, just those things you were saying about being able to read who's on it and, you know, who's playing, who's a guest appearing on it, and, you know, the story. And, but I think that there's something to be said for just being able to fire off, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 tunes, you know, boom, and just kind of get them out there and get, you know, feed the beast. You know, with fresh material, you know, kind of consistently or not or whatever, but you know, just get something out there. But I couldn't let go we had 14 songs on that record, and I wouldn't have been able to let go of any of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, Lee, what about the album format? You played on a few records yourself. Is the long player still important?
I think at this point, it's first off, it's a generational thing. I think if we're talking to people in our generation, the album was a very important aspect of our lives. But you talk to, you know, like the last 2 generations, I think its significance completely diminished. Where I remember when we'd be in the studio, we worked so hard because the album was telling stories from top to bottom, and you'd figure, how's it going to start? How's side A going to end emotionally? Take that Japanese tea ceremony moment, turn the record over, wipe it down, set it down. How is side B going to start? And I remember so many projects I worked on, we would go to mastering and we'd all be sitting there, even though it wasn't our album, we play it, but we'd be sitting there and hear that first track go by. And as soon as it ends, you go, that's where the second song begins. You know, you'd be, you know, just figuring out emotionally how this whole thing laid out. And so when streaming started, and you know, I hear albums being streamed, and they're out of order that my psyche knows. And I find it so disruptive to hear a song that's not supposed to be following that one suddenly appear.
Right.
But it's just technology changes and you kind of go with it. But we've entered that time. I know when I was touring with, there's an artist I work with, Judith Owen, who's married to Harry Shearer. And when we were on the road, we sold more vinyl than CDs on the tour. So, there's this resurgence of, it must be fun to have a turntable company that people are actually doing something other than this with their turntable. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it really is a generational thing. And like Kate said, there's something about being able to just grab a tune, like you're listening to something and on Spotify or something, and you just want to hear that tune and you grab it up and you don't have to pull up, the album and go through the whole thing. But for listening pleasure, my preference would still be just to sit back and listen without distraction. Because everybody seems to use music as background for some other thing they're doing. They got their earbuds in and they got something playing, but they're washing the car or doing, just talking to friends. And it's this thing as compared to sitting down, having a good sound system, and be able to immerse yourself in the musical experience that the artist wanted to create out of that. To me, that's the magic of it. And that would be my preferred way. But my personal mantra is always, don't become an old fart. And things change and you want to be engaged in all of it. So, you deal with everything. I would rather go back, listen to Edison wax spools. Okay.